I've got two boats. That one behind me is my baby, and this one right here I'm prepping to sell. It's got a problem with it. You can see it got dinged up. Somebody dropped it, and there was a quick patch made. So I've sanded it down in the general area, and there's the hole. So I'm going to drill it out and put glass on it. If you just put the glass on the old work, it works, and it'll just crack the new glass patch. So I always cut it out. This is a hole saw. It's got a 1/4 inch pilot drill. Now where I'll drill will be the very end of the crack, which it's cracked like three places. It's like a radial crack. It'll be at the end of all the radials, right there and right there. With a small boat, we have the luxury of having to be able to we can turn the boat over to work on the bottom, and I couldn't do this with a bigger boat. So there's your 3 holes, and I'm going to cut along and join them up. Here it is partially cut out. I had to drill another hole on the bottom here. It was evident there was a little bit of water had gotten between the laminates and rotted the fiberglass up to about here due to the crack. You get water on the edge of fiberglass where it's not covered, and it will, osmosis up there. So I have to cut down across here now to have the thing fall out. You can see that's where the crack was. It really is, kind of shot. And that's how I cut it, in case you were wondering. And I know you could have used electric here, but I was a little worried using the electric that it would vibrate the hull too much, maybe crack it, because it's not really supported now. And this is you can buy these. It's a diamond tooth hacksaw blade. They're not that pricey, and they're really good for doing fiberglass and even ceramic and stuff. So it just takes a little elbow grease. Since I had to cut it a little bigger, I've turned it over, and I'm going to have to sand around here and make sure the edge is all down to naked fiberglass, so when I put the patch on from this side, it has a place to stick. Besides sticking on a little bit of the edge, you want to have a little overlap so the thing's got a little strength to it. And yet you don't want to build it up too much, because then you'll build a stress point and it'll just crack on the edges. I hope I know what I'm doing. Okay, I'm working on the outside, and I have to have something that the fiberglass won't stick to the backing I'm going to put here. So I put down some wax paper, and to hold the chine, I've got a little piece of plastic taped under there. There's your chine to hold that shape so it doesn't bulge in. So never really done this before. It's kind of experimental for me, so I'm hoping it gives me a good shape. I'll finish cutting it and taping it on. Well, it did occur to me, instead of putting a backing plate on there, that maybe I could do it with just some masking tape. So this tape is on top of the wax paper, which I separately taped underneath it to give me a good edge, so the fiberglass resin doesn't seep under it. So we'll see how it works. I guess the worst that I'll have to do would be to sand off all the tape. It wouldn't be pleasant, but it would be doable. Well, let's see how it works. That doesn't look too bad at all. I should be able to get the resin in to stick to the edge, maybe seep a little bit under it to give me a good bond. I'll mix up a paste of I'm using epoxy resin, by the way. Mix up a paste of epoxy resin and some filler material to put down first, and that should give me a good flat surface on the outside when I'm finished, once I peel all this away. So boy, I hope this works. Oh yeah, and then I'll build it up with fiberglass kind of filler in here to meet this little depth here, and then one patch over the top, maybe two layers that'll lap over here and give it a little more strength. Hopefully this will just all, hopefully that'll peel out when I'm through on the outside. It wouldn't be too hard to pull plastic from fiberglass, so it just doesn't stick well to it. And hopefully it won't soak through the wax paper too much too and stick to the tape. Well, I got a little busy there and had my gloves on, and my hands were all sticky, too sticky to pick up the camera. But here's that I've put the fiberglass on. It's still a little wet. First layer I actually fit inside the hole with some matting, fiberglass matting, and here I had to decide what to use for resin. I mixed a little bit of glass beads into the resin to give it a little strength. I might have not done that. I don't know. It didn't flow real well, but I think I get good penetration. And then on top of that, once I had the level built up to the level of the old fiberglass, I used not matting but fiberglass cloth. Not sure of the weight of it because I found it in my scrap bin, and laid up a number of layers over the top of it, and the last layers overlapping the old fiberglass. So that's epoxy on old polyurethane fiberglass. I guess it's it's polyethanol, whatever it is. And there's looking through it from below. You can see it's translucent even through the tape, and I don't see any soaking on the tape, so it might actually be even easy to remove. Who knows? So I'll let that cure overnight, not mess with it. It did get a little warm on me. I didn't mix large batches of glass. I used West System epoxy, by the way, and 3 squirts for the first coat, and it did get a little warm. I've made a mistake of mixing too much at once, and when you get a large mass of it, it actually gets hot enough to smoke, and it actually burns itself, so it's not a good joint. Well, it's later in the day, about I guess I let it go for about maybe 4 or 5 hours there, and it's peeling off not too bad. I haven't got the wax paper to come off. I think it's soaked in a little bit. Well, I think the wax paper might actually mostly... Oops, it ripped. I don't think it'll be real hard to get it off with the wire brush, perhaps. But the piece of plastic seems to have become embedded in there. Maybe a little more than I had originally thought it would. I think I can get it out, but it's going to leave a groove. Oh well. Amazing what you can do with a little sandpaper. Not too bad. It's actually, so far it looks really strong. I imagine by it setting up tomorrow, I think by the time it sets up tomorrow, it'll be very, very strong. So if it's not the most beautiful, at least it's going to be functional. So anyway. Not a bad little boat.